Hello everybody and welcome to the Patchwork Challenge review video. My name is Joe Stockwell and I'm currently sat in the car because it's blowing a gale, but we're going to take a little look around my patch of Weymouth today. Okay, so that concludes a little mooch around my patch. I'm going to head home for some breakfast and some coffee and then probably head out again this afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed watching and I look forward to seeing everybody else's scores come this Patchwork Challenge year. Thanks very much.
Action. Hello everyone, welcome to the February review for the Patchwork Challenge video review of February thing. My name is Mark Lewis. I'm joined by James Spencer and Ryan Irvin, and you've just been watching Joe Stockwell's little patch video from Weymouth, Radipool, that sort of area. What a lovely looking patch that was. Thank you very much for sending that in, Joe, and marginally less thanks for making a really professional looking video and making mine look really crap. If you want to send us a video of your patch for the future, please do. We'd be very happy to receive that sort of thing. Now, on with the show. I'm just going to share my screen. What I'm going to do now is press some buttons, and when I press the wrong ones, James will tell me I've pressed the wrong ones, and then I'll try and press the right ones shortly after that. So here we go. Can you see that, guys? Is that just a big Patchwork Challenge thing?
Yep.
Yeah, it was
perfect.
already there for me.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was already there for me as well.
Well, that makes yet another thing making me look amateurish. Okay, here we go then. This is the running order for tonight. First of all, we're going to do some mini leagues. Then we're going to talk about some best finds. Then we're going to do some more mini leagues. Then we're going to do the Court of Appeal, which is going to be very short because we only had one appeal. Then we're going to have a great big debate. And then we're going to have even more mini leagues. And then we're going to talk about some patch gold, some hashtag confusion. And then we're going to get to the nitty gritty and show you the top 10s. And then after that, we will go to what ought to have been the March predictions, but they might as well be the April predictions because
Can I
we
make
haven't
some
got our
March
fingers out.
predictions now?
Say
I-
you what?
Can I make some March predictions right now?
Yeah,
I reckon there might be some Alpine Swifts.
it's that sort of foresight that brings real value to these conversations, James.
That's why I'm here. Just add value, add quality, add knowledge, add
And
experience.
tech support as well.
Right. Crack on.
Okay, who wants to do the first mini leagues? Shall I do it, seeing as I didn't do any last time?
Yeah, debut. Go on, get in.
I'm nervous now. Okay, over to me for mini league session 1. Coastal East England, the 10-kilometre league. Nigel Lound, top of the pile there with 165 points. Not too far behind, no James Brown for Hopton, with a highlight of Eastern Yellow Wagtail. We're going to post all these on Twitter, by the way, so you don't have to take everything in now. You'll be able to browse those at your leisure. Now to the Coastal East England, which is a busy one. Tim Hodge at the top of the pile, closely followed by Jacob Spinks at Spurn. Tim's had some nice highlights. Buick Swan.
Stop. There is some mistakes in this mini league, as I omitted the top person.
Who is the top person?
It might be Mark Golly, and then there might be someone who was in the wrong mini league who also is coming in.
Okay, so when we post this on Twitter, it'll be correct, won't it?
It will
Yeah.
be correct. So sorry, everybody. We spotted this far too late in the day. Well done, Tim, on a great start. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think
in
Mark
third
Goley.
place-
Yeah, Mark Goley is
Third-
on about 176 points. Trevor Girling at Titchwell's on about 169, is it, or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So once we update the leagues, they'll be the top two, and then Tim. So it's close, and it's good to see 3 Norfolk patches beating Spurn at the moment, which is probably
it's not going to last though, is it? It's not going to last. Anyway, let's crack on. Thanks for that, guys. So this is the second. This is the fight for relegation. Where do you get relegated to if you finish in the bottom 3 of the Coastal East England?
Inland
Is that the
North.
Inland North you get
Yeah.
relegated to? Anyway,
Absolutely.
Martin Kirby is safe with his Shelduck and his Great Crested Grebe and his Buzzard. Pete Williams with his Woodcock. Paul French with his Woodlark. But Kevin Tunnicliffe, Jared Johnson, Paul Anderson, they're in the relegation zone. So you better get your fingers out, guys. Coastal Island, Daniel Newton streaking ahead with 86 points without any highlights. Also in bottom place, Daniel Newton, Coastal Island Mini League. RSPB, wow. Where's wow? Anyone any
West.
ideas?
It's Belfast Locks. What's wow? I don't know.
I think
Nope.
the RSPB wow is pretty appropriate anyway.
That'll
So
do, yeah.
yeah,
With 86 points.
86 points. Coastal Scotland, 10-kilometre patches. Rob Hughes with a dodgy goose on his cell phone list. Thank you for sending that in. Closely followed, not that closely, but followed at least by Julian Smith and then Nino O'Hanlon shortly after. Coastal Scotland, 3 km patch. Colin Davison at Scoffle in first place. Highlights of Glaucus Gold. Julian Smith at St John's Pool, brilliant sight. Greenwing Teal. Andrew Hewell, one of the Ladyboys, third place. No highlights. Andrew Whitehouse from Girdleness, never heard of him. And then me, who didn't update his patch score because I had very little to add. Coastal South England, 10 kilometres. Bob Ford is top of the pile, but I'm going to go straight to Andrew Culshaw, who's had a long-built Dowitcher. And then Amy Rob Johns, one from the very beginning of Patchwork Challenge. Yet to explore much away from Patch, so Little Owl back on Patch. Patch Tick, that would be an absolute monster bird up here, so I can relate to getting excited about a Little Owl. Okay, Coastal South, the top half of the table. Trevor Girling, who I believe is in the wrong table here. Let's just ignore Trevor. So Joe Stockwell of Weymouth and recent video fame with 139 points. Steve Waite very shortly after him. No, I actually tied first in this league. But Steve gets a bigger mention because he has listed some highlights, Firecrest, Caspian Gull, blah, blah, blah. Lots of lovely stuff there. And then somebody in 5th place who's not very good at identifying gulls by the looks of things. And the bottom half of the table is Tim Jones. I got confused. There's more than one Tim Jones, isn't there? But anyway, Kevin Rylands had a naked coot, which I think we would all like to have seen. Coastal Wales, Peter Howlett, a poor month, only 3 editions, the best being Siberian Shift Draft, but that's enough to see him at the top of the table with 97 points. Shortly after him, we've got Alex Jones, who's at Rill, and he's had Snowbunt, Black Red Start, Merlin, Pale Belly Brents, and 5 Ready Shelduck. How many points are we giving out for Ready Shelduck these days? Can anyone remember?
15.
15 points?
Absolutely not. No, I think it's
Doesn't seem right to me.
It's a 3-pointer, isn't it?
Fair enough. I can live with that. I can live with that. Coastal Wales, 10 kilometres. Let's go straight to the top. Matt Boer, Surf and Velvet Scooters, Slav Grey, Black-Throated Diver, Snowbunting, and Ruddy Shelduck. Loads of people have got Ruddy Shelduck.
I know
I should
that
get myself one of those.
That Ruddy Shelduck's just done the rounds round all the North Wales and Wirral patches. Same bird. So they've all got it. They've all got millions of points.
No wonder they're all
Been a lot of
the league.
storm-damaged cages by the sounds of it.
Anyway, let's move on. Best finds. Me again. So, let's just get this one out of the way. What's this, Ryan? How many gulls did you have in the same field?
Yeah, that was when they were ploughing in my patch. There was Glaucus gull, Cumulines gull, Iceland gull, Caspian gull, and then the following day Yellowleg gull. But it never quite got all 5 in the same time.
So how many species of gull were you seeing in a day?
Oh, now you're talking 11. Maybe
that's pretty incredible.
11 10 in a ploughed field, and then Kittiwake and coast. So yeah, it was a good time.
The most I can do in a day is 9, which I thought was good, but I realise that down in Cornwall there's been a lot of sort of 11, 12 species of gulls seen in a day recently. So
yeah, I think someone got, when they were at Hale Estuary, I think someone saw 14 in a day or something like
Lordy.
that. So.
I can't even name 14 types of gull.
No, I might be mistaken. It's either 13 or 14. I remember. I think they were trying to get 14. I don't know if they did. But yeah. No, it was a good time. I've been told that February is it's the ploughing month. So I think every February, hopefully, will be.
Is that anything to do with Valentine's Day? I'll move on.
You're a bad man.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, a nice Cumlines gull. Nice one, Ryan. Another good find. So Bruce Taylor had a white-billed diver on Barra. Not quite the rarity it used to be, and I should imagine not the last time we're going to be hearing from Bruce. What else have we had? Adam Bassett had a ring-billed gull on his patch, which I've forgotten where it is. Ring-billed gull feels to me like a proper rare bird these days. But, and you may disagree with me, guys, but I've gone for find of the month, these two Penduline tits. Any disagreement?
No, I'm game with that. I think that's all right.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean,
pretty rare these days.
Feel free to argue.
There's not been many of them for the last 10 years or so, is there? They were sort of picking up and almost on their way to scarce, and then there's hardly been any. I think because didn't Ireland got its first ones? Was it earlier this year, January?
That sounds familiar.
And
still no records in Scotland.
Well, it's because Scotland's rubbish.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I think we should probably just move on. Oh yes, a special mention to Mark Golly, who not only has he been left out of his mini league, he's reported best finds of what apparently is a leaf and good finds of a leaf and a gate. That's what I can make out from these pictures. So thanks very much for sharing those, Mark, and well done with your gate, especially. It's a classic.
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to do mini league session 2?
Yeah, I can do that one.
Okay, Ryan, are you ready?
Not really, but let's go for it.
Take a deep breath. Go.
All right, so started coastal West England, where Jane Turner is doing well from her home. She's topped by 1 point, and she's had a few highlights: Great Northern Diver, Lapwing, Marsh Harrier, Lapland bunting. Lapwing seems to be slightly out of place there, but maybe it is a rarity there. No one else had any highlights, but it looks like it's going to be a close run thing with Sean O'Hara and Pierre Monti. I probably pronounced that wrong. But yeah, it looks like it could be a good close contest between the top 3. And then the 10K League, well, there's only one winner here. Now, oh, Great Northern Divers, a county rarity. Pierre, I did not know that. I would not have guessed that in the West Coast.
Yeah, that's impressive,
quite...
isn't it?
Yeah. Spoonbill, that must be nice early spring migrants. And yeah, it looks like he's had a good month.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Certainly better than I have.
The Estuarine 10-kilometer league, that's big estuaries. So Irene Boston at Sneddisham is running away with it at the moment. 119 points, not many highlights, but a couple seabirds. Guillemots at Bangor for Joel, and is that a January sandwich turn at Pegwell Bay for Jonathan Dodds. So yeah, and it all looks like, yeah.
I've got a question. Does a guillemot mean that the patch isn't estuarine, or does a guillemot in the highlights justify the patch's place in the estuarine league?
I would say, yeah, if it's a highlight, it's not coastal.
Yeah.
Or it's a really bad bit of the coast.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I think that's the whole point of the Estuarine League, isn't it? It's for things like that. You know, you're not going to guaranteed seeing seabirds, so it's always a highlight when you do. So this is the 3
exactly
kilometer.
What I thought as well.
Yeah, it's the 3 kilometer Estuarine League. Paul Borman's winning by 8 points. He didn't have any highlights, but he's already on an impressive 106 species. Not far behind Stuart Derbyshire. What's he had? Odds Canada Goose in January, Buick Swan, February Tundra Bean, which has been a pretty poor year from what I've heard for Tundra Beans. It's always good to get them. I'm not going to mention the other one. Then Martin Elcoat, not far behind again, with finding Glaucus Gull, a hatch first. Again, that's quite a surprise.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah, a surprise. Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows, the difference between Devon and Cornwall. Like, I can't stop bumping into white-winged gulls at the moment. Every field or piece of rock in the sea I look at, there seems to be one. Obviously, Devon's slightly different. A few more highlights there. Water pipit at Oldby Power Station for Pete Hazelwood's, Egyptian goose and woodcock. Buick swan and Stevernside, which I don't know if there's been many Buick swans this winter. I don't keep up very well. I know Norfolk, their numbers are going down dramatically.
I think they still get a few at Slimbridge, don't they? They get that. So it's probably one of those ones doing a wonder if it's Sevenside.
Yeah, and then another Buick swan at Freeston, that's in Lincolnshire, Paul Sullivan, and then Craig Mackay's had a grey plover and white down in Devon, or I presume Black Devon wetlands is in Devon.
No, I think actually that's in on the 1st or 4th.
Cambus Pool. That's how much
You
I know
should know that,
Scotland.
Ryan. You're from Scotland.
Yeah, not Edinburgh area. Oh, and 2 pages of Estuarine League. Any other highlights? Marsh Harrier. Just a cool bird. I must agree. And Marsh Harrier would be a good bird for my patch. So fingers crossed in the next few weeks they'll be moving through. And Slavonian Gree patch tick for Joel again. That's very nice. And a crossbill flying through, which always good if they don't breed in your patch. And then Paul French with the water pipits. Shows he's struggling away this year. All right. Inland North 10K. This is, let's have a look. And Toby Holmes is winning by, it's a pretty close league. You didn't have any highlights with Joe Woods with Blackneck Grebe, which is always a good bird to get in Wakefield. Always Patchwork fame, Wakefield, with its, wasn't it Wakefield where the
the Blythe's pipit.
Blythe's pipit.
Yeah, Pugneys. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other? Let's just have a look. Some more highlights. Water Rail, Patch Gold, Patch First for Mike Hobson at Brighouse, and then Little Egret, Snipe and Widgeon, Heard at Night for Paul
Brilliant.
Brady. Yeah, that's.
Nice.
I still haven't tried Knockmig in Cornwall yet, and I really need to get out. But yeah, been too lazy. So the 3 kilometer inland north, Duncan By is winning by 1 3-point bird, and at Welldrake Kings, and Tim Jones in the same site isn't too far behind. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a pretty close league with Oldmore area for Mike Langston, also above 110 points. So yeah, highlights: Hen Harrier, Tundra Bean Goose, Great Egret, the Welldrake Kings, and then a couple others: Raven and Peregrine at the Down Valley, Red Crested Potchard, Iceland Gulf, Hooper Swan, and Chiff Chaff at the Elton Reservoir, and a Patch First Pintail at Rosington Pit
Wow.
or a Stuart Churchill.
Nice.
That'd be a mega for my patch as well.
Yeah.
So,
Certainly gets the pulse racing for me too.
Yeah, and Ringneck Duck at Longton and Cumbria for Connor Fraser is another highlight. Corn Bunting at Nafferton Cars. Yeah.
I just thought that probably wasn't worth mentioning.
No,
it was probably a
fair.
rebunting, to be honest.
Probably
House
was,
Sparrow.
yeah. I'd have said.
And then the bottom half of the the middle third of the Inland North League. This is going well. Only highlight there is at Keele University for Mark Sutton and Little Grebe. So,
Brilliant.
and then the final bit of Inland North, just a few more. No highlights, and it's going to be a tight relegation battle, a bit like the Premier League this season.
I think they need some migrants to arrive, those guys.
Yeah.
Well, next month I think it'll be a big difference.
Yeah. You don't have long to go, Ryan.
I don't. It seems like a marathon. Inland Scotland, 10 kilometre. Chris Pendlebury in the Dunblane and Allen Water area, running away with it at the moment. Long-eared owl. Although he says it's regular, they're always tough to see. So
yeah.
And this time of year, always a good one. No other highlights from Pennycook or Inchmarshes, but I'm sure in the next few months they'll start picking up a few more. And the 3 kilometre inland Scotland. So Loch Lomond, Luke Wake, Snow Goose. Yep, that's it's been in the local area for a while, so it's finally made its way. Chris Pendlebury again in the Dunblane area is in second place. And then Zul Bataya is now in Loch Winnoch. He's had a good start to the year, but no, I'm sure I saw somewhere he'd highlight. I'm sure he had some waders that he was twitching, but maybe that was the month before, was it?
I can't remember.
I remember seeing some tweets.
He gets out a lot, so I'm sure he's seen some stuff.
Yeah. Alex Ash with a green shank, always a good winter bird, especially inland.
Yeah.
And then the only other highlights were crossbill and returning song thrushes at Strathyre for Lee Hess.
Very nice. Ryan, I'm sorry about this. I thought I'd given you fewer to do.
What? Oh, so we're now at Inland South. I thought we'd already done Inland South. Inland South, 10 kilometre, the first page. Hugh Venables is 1 point ahead of Andrew Culshaw. And then you've got Marek Walford. So no one's got many highlights at the moment. Jack Snipe, Green Sandpiper for Duncan Poyser, and Eli, whatever way you want to say it. And then some Hawfinch, Woodcock, and Merlin down in New England and Old West for Graham Reed.
Good records for New England, I guess.
I've no idea where it is.
It's in America.
It's quite a long way away. Just on that last one, I think the chap in second place, Andrew Culshaw, I think he had the long-billed Dowitcher. I think I haven't moved him out of that league because I think he's inland for the 3K, but he's coastal for the 10K.
Does he cycled to Cly?
Yeah, I think that's right. So I think he was inland originally for both. So apologies to those guys there, but I think Andrew if I've got this correct, and do tell us if I've got it wrong, but we think that we probably need to shift him. I thought I had moved him, but there you go.
Okay. And the only highlight in the bottom part of the thing was Rachel Leonard has got a Dartford warbler in inland perch in Camborne.
Nice.
Must be a pretty rare bird inland.
It's another one that would, well, I mean, it would be an absolute monster for me, one of those.
Yeah.
Any Scottish records?
There haven't been any for maybe 20 years.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be quite an easy species for my patch, because 5 years ago the moors in West Penwith, there was quite a lot of breeding ones up there, but by the time I got back, I think a lot of them have disappeared. A couple bad winters, so
It only takes one winter, doesn't it? And it really does knock them back to the core range.
So I kind of thought I was going to bump into them everywhere, but unfortunately I haven't seen any. So.
Anyway, I believe, Ryan, that's you off the hook. Okay. That felt like a bit of a marathon. Sorry about that. We can all take a breather now. A very brief breather, because now it's time for the Court of Appeal. We do like it. If you do think that if you deserve some more points for anything, please do let us know. We will happily discuss it. One of the things that I was thinking during the reviews just now, somebody with a patch first glaucous skull, I can't guarantee that we would give extra points for that, but that's exactly the sort of thing that we would discuss for sure. So please do consider sending stuff in to us. Now, as far as I'm aware, the only thing for the Court of Appeal that we have this month is that Raven, should it be worth 1 or 2 points? Now,
how many is it worth at the moment, Mark?
I think it's worth 1 point.
So I kind of brought this up because my friend Sean at Winterton in East Norfolk photographed 4 together, and I think they might not be a description species anymore, but they were a description species in Norfolk until very recently. They might still be one. I lived next door to Sean for 8 or 9 years. Never saw Raven on my patch. So when he saw 4, but then I went to Norfolk for about 30 hours at the weekend, and I saw 3 in about 2 hours. So they're becoming a lot easier, but they're still, it still gives you that big buzz because they're still pretty unusual, and they might be the only ones he sees all year. So
yeah.
On that though, Ryan, where is Raven actually unusual? Because it's a much smaller area than it used to be. I mean,
so in Norfolk they're moving east quickly.
Yeah, in Yorkshire they have hit the east coast in terms of breeders, which is fairly new, and I think I found something like the 6th or 7th one for Flamborough 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that, and they are now multiple birds every year. Their status has totally changed down the east coast of Yorkshire. I think they've moved east of York in terms of regular breeders, sort of all over the place, and well, up to York maybe. So I think going down the spine of the country, they're in places like the Humber Head levels, they're in the Midlands, they're all over the south coast. I think it's just that little bit on the east coast of England that doesn't have them.
I mean, certainly what's happening in Scotland is the same. I think maybe 10, 15 years ago, they were in northeast Scotland, they were a description species away from the mountains. And now I think there's a couple of, 2 or 3 pairs on the coast, and somebody sees them every year at Girdleness. So they're spreading to lowland areas basically. And my thought is that that's not going to change. They're not going to get any rarer again in a hurry. And I think that we could debate for a long time whether they should be worth 1 or 2 points. But maybe one way of looking at it is that if things continue the way they're going and we change it to 2 points, we may well have to change it back to 1 point in the future. So it makes sense to me just to leave it at 1 point.
Agree.
Yep. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Great. Well, that was quick, wasn't it?
It's not a good appeal. Not enough detail. Not a decent argument. Sorry, Sean.
I thought Ryan made painted a very nice picture.
He did.
Oh yeah, I if I was still in Hemsby, I'd be absolutely delighted. Although the 4 apparently flew over my old house, so I would have already seen them now, and if I was still there.
Again, I think this might be one that you could appeal though, in terms of, do I deserve more points for a Raven if you're at Hemsby and or if you're at Winterton and they don't turn up very often?
Will we give it a Twitter poll for Winterton, the Winterton 4?
The Winterton 4.
The Winterton 4. Well, why not? We've got nothing else to poll about, have we? Oh, maybe we will actually later on. Okay.
What silly question? What was the outcome of our polls last month? Can anyone remember?
So the outcomes were that our Dutch and German and do we have any Belgian friends? They can score some points. They can score 2 points for Pied Wagtail.
Yeah.
And they can score 2 points, I believe it was, for Pale-Bellied Brent Goose. And there was, I think so. And there was another one that I can't remember. That's good, isn't it?
I'm now just trying to scroll Twitter now. But
sorry, I shouldn't have gone off piste and bought that.
It's fine. I mean, I can barely remember what day it is, so please don't ask me to remember stuff that happened a month ago.
How are you getting on with the search, Ryan?
It's still going very slowly.
I think, Mark, you need to edit the countdown clock over the top of this.
When was it?
I would suggest it was right at the beginning of February.
Here we go. Court of Appeal. Pale-Bellied Brent in the Low Countries, 2 points. With no fine bonus. They got 44%. And then we didn't say anything for UK. No, nothing.
No.
And then for Pied Wagtail in the Low Country, yep, full species, 2 points, 55%. And then is that the only ones?
I think that was it. 3 of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think
we
pronounced on the rest on the thing. Go back to that to find out what it was we pronounced on, because I cannot remember. My dementia is strong.
Okay, let's move on. So no extra point for Raven, I'm afraid. But sorry. What we'll do is we'll put it on Twitter. But I'm guessing that there'll be no extra points for Raven. Okay.
You don't know how many birders are in Winterton.
I don't know how many what?
How many birders are in Winterton?
Well, I'm guessing it's about 3.
That's probably double that. 6, I think. Okay.
That's still not a big number. Anyway, let's move on. Let's have the great big massive Patchwork Challenge debate. Now we've got 3 topics to discuss, and also for future versions of this, if you have anything that you feel we can discuss, then please let us know. Please send us in, tweet us or email us or whatever. Phone us up if you've got our phone numbers. Anyway, issue number 1. I'll read this out. Hypothetical. If bird A finds a 3-pointer like, I don't know, Pallid Swift, and then loses it, and then phones bird B, who's about a mile away, who's looking for one, and then 15 minutes later, bird B finds one a mile away from the first one. Can bird B claim 6 points, asking for a friend? Sheepish, embarrassed face. I'm taking that to mean.
I can also just add to that and say it wasn't hypothetical. And
I know, I figured that out. It was pretty specific for a hypothetical.
I say no. They're both in the same. They're both in the same patch, and probably changed your behaviour because you're waiting for an Alpine Swift to fly to you.
I think
that's just my opinion.
You go to the old Girls Aloud self-find. I know you like self-finds, don't you, Ryan? Yeah, it depends which one of Girls Aloud's calling which one, but no, that's not a find. That's just you're waiting for it to go through. You know it's coming.
I don't understand this.
No, what's this Girls Aloud stuff?
You've not. The punk birder self-find rules.
Oh, you're talking about genuine surprise.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, there's no genuine surprise there.
Well, exactly.
So we're all agreed that there's no bonus points when there's no genuine surprise.
Cheryl
Yeah.
Tweedy is not loving that.
If you say so.
I still don't get the girls allowed part to this.
And do you know what, Ryan? You and I are too old for this. James is
Yeah.
Okay.
James is
I'm,
that wee bit
I'm
younger.
down with the youth.
That's right. Can I add a genuine hypothetical? So imagine I'm sea watching on a sort of late August morning at Girdleness, and the evening before, several Corey shearwaters were seen passing Fife to the heading northward. If I see one of those if I see a Corey shearwater at Girdleness the next morning, can I claim to be genuinely surprised about that?
Yes, because it's Girdleness.
I think the distance and the expectation, like,
You can't expect something to definitely travel 150 miles and pass that small headland.
yeah.
I'd be surprised if I saw a Corey shearwater in that sort of situation.
I mean,
Fair enough.
your odds are higher than any other day, but I wouldn't say that you're thinking, yeah, it's a guarantee. Whereas Alpine Swift goes past bird at A towards bird at B, bird at B then sees Alpine Swift 15 minutes later. It's like, well,
And
yeah.
seabirds are a lot different because the amount of times like things get reported when like in North Norfolk, you never ever see them in East Norfolk and vice versa. So
Yeah.
it's a lot more of a lottery than a swift flying down the coastline. In my
Fair
opinion.
enough. I can live with that. So there is a bit of a grey area. At some point, the genuine surprise thing kicks in. It's probably different for different people, I guess, isn't it?
I think
But
it's
anyway.
different for different types of bird as well, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
But you could almost say the same. I could be sea watching down here in July and have a great shearwater fly past. Did I find it? Because I'm probably expecting one. But I'll get the 6 points.
Yeah, just claim those points. This is exactly the sort of thing we would like to discuss a bit more, though. So, if you have any other hypothetical situations, then do let us know.
And if you're interested, do join us as well, because you probably contribute more than we will.
Yeah, if we know we're getting a guest on, then I'll up my game and actually get things sorted out a bit better as well. So please do come on and give me the kick up the arse that I need. Anyway, the next question in the great big massive debate is: do we accept birds that have been identified via an app or any sort of digital means?
No.
Which one?
So, okay, first of all, Paul Brady is exactly my kind of person because he's getting very, very excited about Patch Gold Rook. So that's great. But if you look down the bottom, Merlin is picking out a Firecrest down there, and I think that's what he's. This is his patch is somewhere in Teesside, I think, somewhere like that. Yeah, Middlesbrough it says.
I would say it's pretty much like if you took a photo of something and only identified it afterwards because you haven't seen it. As in the fact that you probably can't count it.
I think it's different
at the time in the field you didn't notice it.
Well, I think this is different, and we'll talk about that thing in a bit. And I can tell you why you're talking absolute BS. But for this one, I think the biggest issue is Merlin, which this is not perfect. It gets things wrong, and it gets things wrong a lot. And it does. I've road tested it after I saw this tweet. I took it out and I was like, I'm going to give this a go. And the 2 times I ran it, it picked up J, and there are no J's anywhere near me. Either that or I'm J ear blind, which is also possible, but I don't see him either. It didn't pick up a lot of stuff I was hearing. So I think the chances of that. So I imagine it's probably picked up a crest, but the chances of it picking up a wonky gold crest and turning it into Firecrest are probably quite high.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tested it quite a bit, just because I was quite intrigued, and it's only made one mistake, and that was it picked up a coot in the middle of the forest. which was a bit strange. But I get a lot of Firecrest and a lot of Goldcrest down here, and it's never been wrong yet. Between the two.
Okay. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. So, but in this situation, if he didn't hear it and didn't realise, I suppose he has heard it, has he?
Well,
you're
the sound
watching
has
it real
passed his
time.
ears. Yeah, but the sound has passed his ears, but it doesn't mean he's heard it.
I mean, I suppose it's a personal thing. If he's happy that he's picked it out after seeing Merlin identified it.
Oh yeah, that's
because it's identifying it in real time. So all of a sudden he's seen, oh, it's Firecrest, and then starts listening for it.
I don't think that has happened because he's saying didn't get eyes on it and happy to say it's a mistake. So he hasn't identified it himself.
Okay. Yeah.
So my take on this is that, if you want to use Merlin, that's fine. But I think if you want to count something, something like a Firecrest where it would be pretty rare, then you really do need to sort of verify the ID visually, or make a use the recording, or at least sort of confirm the ID with your own brain in some way, rather than just using what the app tells you. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It should always just be used as a tool, not as a given what it's being said.
It's a guide, isn't
it? Yeah.
I was going to say, you want to be the driver in it. You don't want to be the passenger. You want to be making the decision that it's a Firecrest, not the app. The app suggesting to you that you might have a Firecrest there.
All I can say is I wish I had an app like that when I was learning, when I was a teenager.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have made things so much easier.
Oh God,
Okay, and the last thing up for debate is rubber ducks. Actually, what this is plastic, obviously, and on our WhatsApp group we had a brief conversation about great bustards, I think, and my response to whether great bustards should score bonus points or any points at all was that it's very unlikely that anyone would be picking them up as out on their patch if their patch wasn't within the core range for the reintroduced birds. But apparently they get about a bit. Is that right?
Yeah, so you see, I mean, I remember seeing a few records from like Portland and things like that, flying over the bill. So my argument was, I mean, it's not a strong argument. I'm not particularly fussed, but I decided at Twitter without actually asking anyone about the Isle of white-tailed eagles, and I said, yeah, count them. But then it got me thinking, well, why can't you count other things that are roaming around as well? Because they're just equally as wild. In fact, the bustards are probably more wild than the white-tailed eagles now.
I think there's an argument on that, but yeah.
How are the bustards doing? How many sort of?
I think the bustards are doing okay. Aren't they? There's about 50 or 60 birds in the flock, and there's quite a lot of breeding age ones. I think it's a slow burn, isn't it? These things don't breed very fast. They get quite old, and they had limited success at the beginning. And I think for a lot of these things, they don't really count birds until they're the wild-born offspring of wild-born parents. And that was the issue with the lammergeier, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of its parents was captive born, so therefore it's not quite reached that threshold. And I think the generational time with these bustards is quite long. So, I guess they're probably getting towards the threshold of Cat C. Because what we talk, was it 2005, 2007 when they started the Great Bustard Group?
I'm reading their website. It says 2004. And they've introduced over 100 bustards back into the UK wild, and it's now established and crucially beginning to breed self-sufficiently.
So I don't know how the
wait a minute. The good news is that we achieved our goal of establishing a self-sustaining population of great bustards in the UK in 2019.
So how long does a population have to be self-sustaining to get onto category C?
I find self-sustaining populations a bit of a joke, because people pick the bloody pheasants because they were self-sustaining and they're dying out. which suggests they weren't self-sustaining if they're dying
Yeah,
out.
I think you have to have a period of time where these things are self-sustaining. I know there were changes in circumstance for Lady Amherst's pheasant, weren't there? There was changes in
But
the
they
woodland
stopped
Didn't-
releasing them.
Well, possibly that, but wasn't it something to do with muntjac deer eating all the undergrowth or something? I don't even know or care enough to. But I think there was a change, and that was why. God knows about the golden pheasants; they're all hybrid gank anyway. So, but
I mean, I think we all agree with the bustards and probably say not yet. But I think the question then is, what about the Isle of Wight white-tailed eagles?
well,
Should you?
they're wild born, aren't they?
But not an Isle of Wight.
No, but in the UK,
Yeah, but the bustards
But
are
they're
probably wild
translocated.
born in Spain.
they're not all wild, but they're yeah. So
I mean, if they hadn't been moved to Isle of Wight, the vast majority of people who've got white-tailed eagle on their English patches wouldn't have seen one.
Mhm.
It just goes,
Yeah.
What does that matter? Because it must be still a thrilling sight to see white-tailed eagle fly over your patch, whether it is an introduced one or not. In fact, they were all the Scottish ones probably derive from introduced ones anyway, don't they? So
And I think on that point you're right in that all the ones that come from Scotland are, if you're looking at it that way, no one would have seen them. However, the picture isn't quite as clear as that in southern England anymore because they're getting Dutch ones every winter as well. Not very many, but there are Dutch ones coming across into southern England. And then how do you draw the line? How do you determine what's a Dutch bird?
Well, everyone knows because everyone knows the released ones because they're all tagged, aren't they?
Yeah, all right.
So
Fair enough.
So hang on.
I mean, I've seen the continental
Can't
ones in
see any
Norfolk
tags.
before.
Well, that's it. That's what I was going to say. The onus is on the observer to see these birds so badly that they can't see the wing tags. And if they can't see the wing tags,
But it's not even the wing tags, is it? You go to the website and go, oh Christ, that's the one that was flying over my house, my patch that day.
Yeah, but you have to wait a week for them to put the tracking up so they don't get shot, don't you? So you're there on tenterhooks. Is it a Dutch one or is it a crap one for a week?
That's what you're talking about.
I mean, we don't need an instant decision on that, do we?
No, exactly. Yeah.
That's fair. So what's the
in
answer?
summary? In summary,
Twitter poll.
Oh, that sounds like
In summary, Ryan's got the best idea. In summary, we'll let you lot decide. Brilliant.
For both.
For both what? Get Great Bustard and White-tailed Eagle?
Yeah,
What?
I think so. Because it must be quite a thrill if you were in Portland, somewhere in the south coast, and a great bustard flies past.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I can totally relate to that. One of the most enjoyable experiences I've ever had at Girdle Nest was when a bar-headed goose flew past me coming in off. That was just so bonkers. So I can totally relate to people enjoying.
No points for that. Even though I had one fly off the sea over my house as well, and it was pretty. Brain took a while to work out what was going on.
I had a Jaya falcon at St Mary's Island, Whitley Bay, and me and Pete Clark were watching that.
Pete who?
Pete Clark. You might know him. You might not know him.
The name rings a bell.
He was my old colleague.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we were watching that for about 10-15 minutes before we noticed the transmitter on its back. So but it was amazing, watching it hunt guillemots over the bay and stuff like that. It was absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah.
So anyway.
Still no
Okay,
points.
so our massive, great big debate has culminated in what is going to become the stock answer, which is Twitter poll.
Yeah.
So let's move on. I believe, James, it's your turn to deliver some numbers.
Oh, I should do some talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's get into it.
Pour yourself a stronger drink.
Yeah, I need a stronger drink. I've got Ribena, so which is a poor effort today. But as you guys know, I was running around with the kids just before I came on here, and there is the kitchen to clean afterwards. My wife, I've already heard her stomping, so I'm going to be in trouble. Right.
Can we stay on the call for that?
Yeah, you're more than welcome. I know Claire's looking forward to hearing the screams afterwards. we come to the biggest mini league of the lot, Inland South, with 4 pages of people. So this one was the one I managed to omit half of you last time out. I'm really sorry about that. Haven't done it this time. Now we've got quite a substantial lead from the top group over the rest. We've got Sean Davies on the Somerset levels. He's got Glossy Ibis, Buick Swan, Penduline Tit. And he's on 138 points. So he's got a 14-point lead. So it looks like lots of bonus points there. But it is Hamwell, which always has loads and loads of rare herons. So presumably he's notched a few bits on those. And Nick Parsons at Great Ryborough and Pensthorpe. He's on 124 points. He's had Hen Harrier, Goshawk and Avocet. And in third, Drew Linus at Strumpshaw is on 116. And he's also had a Hen Harrier. He's had a Tundra Bean Goose and he's had a White-tailed Eagle. Can he have points for that White-tailed Eagle?
Topical.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam Bassett at Little Marlow. So we were talking about his gulls earlier, and he has 10 species, which is pretty crackers, including the ring-bill gull we saw a picture of, and a cracking glauc in January. Just a few casps, it's fine. And then elsewhere we go. Paul Davies had a goshawk and a cattle egret at Amberley Wildbrooks. Peter Softly at Lady Walk has had Slibe Chief, Lesser Spotted Woodpecker, Marsh and Willow. Oh, that sounds like quite a nice patch, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? It sounds brilliant.
Oh, cut your arm off for some of those ones. And then no highlights until we get down to Brian Headley down at Trent Port Martin Village. I know he had Common Crane in January. In February, he's had Barn Owl. He tweets quite a lot, and we see quite a lot of his pictures. So always nice to find out what's going on down there. Matthew Dick at Lake and Heath. He's got a Tundra Bean Goose. So despite Ryan saying there haven't been many, that's two patches with Tundra Bean Goose. And then Andrew Coleshaw, North Creek, Inland South. He's on 80 points, and he's got a Merlin. There you go. So this is his 3K patch. There we go. In 18th, Hugh Venables had an Avocet in a construction site and a Raven on a half-built house, worth 1 point. Marek at Sunning Eye has had a couple of Scorp in Oxfordshire. Some bloke called Ryan has had some White Brooks or something, and I don't know, normal for Cornwall sort of stuff. Ian Vanel at Tring Reservoirs had a. We don't talk about those, but he's had a Stone Chat.
Hey.
Next, please. And then page 3, lower middle table, Carl Goldspink.
Hey, right, James.
Yeah.
I've just noticed that all the highlights are the same.
Yeah, I've done something here, haven't I? Let's not go through those highlights, but there you go, guys. I've updated half the table and not the other half. It sits in different bits of the spreadsheet. So I apologize. That will be right when we tweet it out eventually in June. Right, so well done, everybody. We'll go to page 4, where Craig Riles at Hawks Green has had a lesser red poll. Okay, what's up next? Inland Wales. Johnny Price, you're doing a great job. 55 species, 56 points at Bryn Paidew. Top.
I wouldn't have taken that on. I'd have just said in Wales.
Yeah, it's my lack of Welsh blood coming out. Right, let's go on to somewhere else. Inland Wales, where we've got Mark Hughes at Cause Digger. I've overshot there. Who's on 80 points with 70 species. And the other guys, Terry Wells is on 48 points, and Sean Sweeney, who's my boss, that's his office list. Yeah, 39 points. But I know he added Chiff Chaff today, so there you go. He was very happy about that. Right, crack on. And the Islands 10K League. Now, our friend and yours, Vincent from Tessel, he's top of the pops on 174 points, leading Bruce Taylor on 144 and John Bowler on 132. I've got to say, I think these scores are going to get massive, aren't they, by the end of the year? They always do. The Island scores are always ridiculous. Even Sean Morris and Russell Neve, they're going to get some big scores by the time the spring's up. But Yeah, really good to see Vincent. He's come into Patchwork Challenge full of enthusiasm. Get loads of great tweets from him, so really interesting. We've got Bruce has found a white-billed diver, as we talked about earlier. John Bowler found a Todd's Canada Goose. There's been a few of those knocking about this back end of this winter.
Is that your bird, Mark?
I think they're different.
They look different.
I wouldn't be surprised if the bird that I found in Tarbert Harbour is still in Tarbert Harbour. It looks very comfortable there with its big ugly Canada Goose chum. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Came over with pinks many years ago and it's just gone native.
It could easily have done. I'm not 100% convinced it was a Todd's, to be honest, but I mean, it's not going anywhere. What with the company it's keeping. So
no. And then we've got a couple of white wingers. Scott Reed on Tresco. Of course he's doing this at 10k, isn't it? And Sean Morris on Rum. I was thinking, what's Scott Reed doing on Tresco? But obviously 10k covers half the North Atlantic when you're on the Scillies. So there you go. Right, let's crack on to the islands proper. Vincent's doing pretty well here. He's had blackneck grebe, 4th record in 10 years. That's pretty decent. Chetty's warbler, 3rd record Chetty's. Good grief.
James, can you do each score in the accent from the place, please?
I absolutely will not, cannot, and have not any desire to do that because I am so bad at accents.
Okay.
You want me to go full Steve McLaren? I wouldn't insult Vincent by doing that. Right, you've thrown me now. John Bowler's in 2nd on 110 points on Tyree, and David Roche on Papa Westray has Coot. That must be a pretty decent bird there. I don't know how much fresh water have they got on Papa Westray.
There's a big lock on Papa, yeah. But I don't know how often Coot is there.
Yeah, well, decent bird. Siskin as well. Yeah. Scott Reed has had a Richards pipit, not self-found. Assume one of the Iberian ones making its way back home or something like that, or something that's been hidden in the long grass. Further down the table, we've got David Parnaby on Fair Isle, who is definitely just getting warmed up on 91 points, but he's added Siskin. Plenty to get later in the year. Yeah,
is Siskin the new Coot?
Siskin's definitely not the new Coot.
What was I thinking?
I actually just saw my first of the year on the patch last week, so I was quite happy seeing Siskin.
Siskin must be one of those birds. I know what you're saying about patch gold because it's not, you don't see it everywhere, but I bet it gets on most patches.
Yeah, it will do, won't it?
Just through flyovers.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got it on your patch, then you should probably get out and do some Vismig at some point. Mark Lawler on Guernsey. He had a yellow-browed warbler he found, and no bonus points for that anymore. And a Canada Goose. Yes. No Todd's there. Sean Morris at Kinloch's got black-throated diver, and he's had an Iceland goal. And then Sean Morris at Kilmorey has had another white winger. He's had a Glaucus goal, and he's had a short-eared owl. So some nice.
Surely that's the same Sean Morris each time.
Yeah, it's the same Sean Morris. They're both Sean Morris. But Kilmorey and Kinloch, both on the Isle of Rum, I believe.
I believe you're right.
Because we've just done that on the last one. And we can skip past this.
All right.
All right. In the Netherlands, Rob van Bemmelen is top of the league. He's on 149 points. He's had a really strong start at Sokkerbakker. And then Arnold Meyer at Catwick and Z is on 103 points. This is the 10k league. And then we've got Jelle Hugenboom and Marieke Viersma. I'm really sorry for butchering your names, guys. I
have to admit now that I volunteered the second stint, so I didn't have to do this.
Well, James.
Yes.
If you want, I mean, you don't have to give me these in the same order next time, so Ryan can't anticipate when the Netherlands League is coming.
But you send us the PDF.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stop doing that then.
Yeah, trying to do it in a different order means
But then
sorting the thing differently, and that makes my
And who's going to pick out the mistakes if you don't send it out there?
Right. Ryan's definitely going third next time. He's volunteered himself. Let's have a look at their normal mini league then. So this is the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Although I don't think we have any Belgian birders. But Ben Gaxiola at Vlaardingen is top with 137 points. It's only his
Nice.
5th red-crested pochard in 25 years. Good grief.
Who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thunk it? So he's the only one over 100 points. Jan Daniels Troutner in Germany is on 81 points, and we've got no more highlights. So you're there where you are.
Okay, so we'll talk about. Thank you very much for that, James. A few marathon sessions for those mini leagues. Sorry, it takes quite a long time, but we do like to give credit where credit's due. But really, what Patchwork Challenge is all about is the patch gold. So I think we need to highlight a bit of that every now and again. First up, Mark Lawler's Peter Scott painting of some Canada geese heading over the Channel Islands. I can't remember which one it is, I'm afraid, but there they are. And the first for the site in 20 years of watching. That is absolute patch gold. What a nugget. Okay. A stone chat, an out of focus but recognizable stone chat for Heathfield. Brilliant. That is exactly the sort of thing we hope to see for patch gold. And another mention for Paul Brady and his hashtag patch gold block capital letters, Rook flying over. I think that is about as patch gold gets. So thanks very much for sharing those, guys. But of course, we can't forget the ultimate patch gold. Steve Keane having a hangover, having a coot.
Double
Simon
fist
Gillians,
grab.
twitching a coot. I mean, finding a coot is patch gold. Twitching a coot, I don't know. I'm not sure about
I feel
that.
dirty now.
I know what you mean. But still, I mean, it's a coot, isn't it? It's the ultimate Patchwork Challenge bird. So thanks very much for sharing those pictures, guys.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Coot in my patch yet. So
I need it for this year. I will undoubtedly get several on Knockmeg over the course of the year, but whether I see one or not is going to be a different matter.
I got a naked one the other day. Naked Knockmeg. The coot was naked, not me. And yeah, stood in the garden listening for Scoter. No Scoter, but managed a coot. But that was the house list. So Barmston, I've only ever had one. So I live in hope. Sorry.
I was going to say something. So is that your first coot at home? You've had one Knockmeg before, like digital Knockmeg.
It's my second one. The last one, I was in bed with the window open when it was hot last summer, and it flew past. I heard it. It was like, it's a coot.
So. And Mrs. Spencer's like, "Shut up, James."
You idiot.
Okay, let's draw this thing to a close. Okay, hashtag confusion. So yes, you can share things with us on hashtag PWC 2023, but watch out because you may, if you search for that, you may end up getting involved with the.
What is that?
I'm assuming that stands for Pokemon World Cup, which is only marginally more nerdy than patch birding, I guess, but marginally more nerdy, but infinitely preferable to the Python Web Conference.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll be giving Chris May a wide berth, I should imagine.
Yeah. Python Web Conference has been the bane of our life so far this year. You'd have thought they'd learn, because they're only like 5% of the stuff on PWC 2023, and yet it's been going on for months building up to that. Has it happened now?
I don't know. What I'm looking at is the picture of the snake they have there. Oh, hang on. So the web conference is the March the 13th to the 17th. So it was last week.
It's gone. Yes.
I should imagine the most exciting thing about the Python Web Conference was the picture of the snake.
I think you're probably right. It's good graphics. You'd hope so from a load of techie nerds.
You would
But
do.
It's been poor tweeting, I've got to say.
Is it a Python though?
It's absolutely not a Python. Pythons don't have fangs like that.
Yes.
All right.
That's
This
some
is-
sort of colibrid. That
You're just stooping to their level there, guys. You're better than that. Come on.
okay. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
there's
no.
3 of these. So let's take one each. I'll take the first one. So overall, this is the top 10 for the whole world for the 10-kilometer league. Our good friend Vincent, right at the top of the league, 174 points, 130 species. That is a very, very impressive score. And he's still got an entire spring and an autumn to go on Texel. I wonder if he will be caught. I suspect he's going to be, if not at the top, very, very near the top.
Yeah.
Who else is worth a mention here? James Brown with his Eastern Yellow Wagtail. Bruce Taylor's White-billed Diver we've mentioned. John Bowler's Todd's Canada Goose we've mentioned. And Andrew Culshaw's Long-billed Dowitch who we've mentioned as well. But there's some pretty monstrous scores there. Vincent has 130 species at the end of February, and that's what I would expect to have at the beginning of October. So there you go. He's doing very, very well. Who wants to take the next one?
I'll take. We'll keep in the same order. Yeah. I'll go. The green top 10. And we finally have mentioned Mark Goley, who's running away with it, with his Tiger Bean Goose, Woodlark near the house. So, yeah. And then
He
you've
hasn't
got,
mentioned his gate there, though, has he?
No, his gate was brilliant.
well, it obviously didn't get enough points for it. So, and then Jacob
Court of
Spinks
Appeal.
at Spurn is probably going to close that gap pretty soon
Yeah,
at
I
31
think-
points.
I
And
think
then
we'll be hearing from him
Vincent.
soon as well, won't we? In the Court of Appeal. But yeah.
Oh, why? What's happening in Spurn?
Oh, they've had a Dartford warbler, and Jacob found it.
1 point.
1 point.
He gets too many points anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, that's for next month.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But there's the taster for it. Yeah. So then Vincent's in his 3K patch doing very well. I think we've mentioned his highlights before. It's actually a very tight league away from Mark
Mhm.
at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's I can
Let's see what-
imagine by the end of April, these scores are going to be pretty monstrous for
Yeah.
a lot of them.
Yeah. Who's going to go over 200 first? Do you think it's going to be Vincent, or do you think?
Well,
I
if it's,
guess
if it's for the 3K, the
For the
first person,
3K,
I think Mark Goley.
You think Mark will get there before one of the islands catches fire?
Yeah, because
Oh.
I think Norfolk will get the spring migrants before any of the Scottish islands. I don't think Scilly's get enough common birds.
You think you'll get to 200 with incoming spring migrants, your swallows and your warblers before all the scarce hits Fair Island?
Yeah.
Yeah,
fair
definitely.
enough.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's near 200 points now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fair point. Actually, I'm forgetting that this is the
This is
February
February,
score
isn't
and not March.
Mhm. Anyway, last one. Overall top 10, James.
So Mark Goley is top. He is top by 15 points already. So we've had a chat just there about how well he's doing. He's obviously streaking away with it, and very well done, Mark. Trevor Girling in second place, who is in the coastal East England, not coastal South of England. So those two are the top two in that mini league, and the top three overall is rounded off, as Ryan said, right at the top by Norfolk. Was it right at the top, or was it before we started recording? But basically, 3 Norfolk patches leading up the way: Horsey, Titchwell, and Cly. And then it's actually quite a big drop off to the rest of the country there. But Jacob in Spurn on 145, Nigel Lound at Jib Point. Again, Nigel always does well. And Joe Stockwell, another stalwart, another birder that just scores big all the time. And then, you've got Steve Waite. We've discussed his scores. I mean, we've been through all of these highlights already, but some monster scores. Good to see Ben Gaxiola from the Netherlands in there as well, so we've got a bit of representation. So yeah, fantastic.
Nice one. And we're very near the end. So all we need now is, if we'd got our fingers out, and I take full credit for not removing my finger, if we got our fingers out earlier, we would be doing predictions for March, but I don't think there's much point in that. So let's do predictions for April. And I guess maybe we could do something for our respective parts of the country. So let's start in the south, Ryan.
Oh damn! I was hoping you weren't going to make me start.
I can start if you want. It makes it easier if I start.
Yeah, give me a minute to think about what I'm not going to see.
Okay. Well, I'm going to predict an Iberian chiff-chaff. And
I cared on this.
yeah, it's going to be singing along the railway embankment in Nig Bay, and it's going to be wonderful.
Can I go for back end of March? Is that
If you want.
wrong? Yeah, is that all right? I
Cool.
think there's white-spotted numbers of white-spotted blue throats just turned up in the Netherlands. I've seen some pictures. It looks exciting. I quite fancy walking some of the ditches on my patch and kicking one of them out. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd like to see one of those. Thank you very much.
It's in the post.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go an April one. I'm going to go for Western Subalpine Warbler in the patch.
Nice.
That would be
And apart from the bonus points, do we actually win anything if one of us ever gets one of these predictions right?
The eternal glory of Patchwork Challenge and just being the cleverest one in the room.
The respect of your peers. Is that
Yeah,
enough?
that's what I said. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have got past form for predicting rares on patches, as you know, Mark.
Yeah.
The Dogger Bank patch.
I'm surprised you want to talk about this.
Well, it went better the next month.
It didn't take long to get to that bit of this story, did it?
We should probably enlighten one or two people with this.
So we had a prediction. So we were working on the Dogger Bank on the boats, and we had a prediction league with points, surprisingly enough. And you had to predict, I think, one mega rarity. And my prediction was Dark-Eyed Junko. And everyone kind of laughed at me. And then about 3 months later, Mark found a Dark-Eyed Junko on the boat. So I was very proud. And then he sent lots of photos because I was sat in the office. And what was even worse is he asked my colleagues to take a photo of my face as I opened the photo. But karma hit home about a week later when I joined the boat and found Alice's reed bunting on the boat. So
yeah, that's a better bird.
Did you hear, James, that was all? There was some really sort of smooth delivery there. Ryan has been practicing this for, I think, years.
But I think it's brilliant because it's not like you to stiff Ryan, is it? It's not.
I've never stiffed Ryan.
Oh man, no. I'm pretty sure you just. Anyway, Patchwork Challenge. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for rescuing that bit, James.
Yeah.
I mean, James, while you've started signing out, so you might as well finish.
All right. That's our February edition done and dusted. Thank you ever so much for watching. I can't believe you've made it this far. I'm really sorry. We'll try and do better next month, and we'll get some more interesting people to join us. All right. Catch you next time.
Good birding, everyone. Cheerio.
cheerio.